My name is Tracy Lester, and this is my story of how DFCS stole my grandson away from me and has stolen him away from his mom and his dad. Our story begins on April 30th of this year, 2021, where my daughter woke up in the morning to go get her son and feed him and change his diaper. She realized that his leg was swollen. So they immediately rushed him to the hospital, and they did x-ray and found out that he had his right femur was fractured. They immediately got DFCS involved, and from there they transferred him to CHOA in Atlanta, where they did another x-ray and found that he had a total of 7 fractures in his little 8-week-old body. They immediately removed him from their care and placed him in foster care. Once I found out what was going on, I was able to get in touch with DFCS, and they let me know exactly how serious this was, that there were allegations of child abuse against my daughter and her husband. They let me know that this was very serious and that I needed to get my daughter to confess in what happened, or they could be going to prison for a very long time. From the very beginning, my daughter and her husband have denied any type of abuse. They know that they did not abuse their son, and they have been asking from the very beginning to do further tests to find out what kind of medical condition this could be. Some important things to remember is my daughter was diagnosed with a marginal cord insertion when she was pregnant. She also had a vitamin D deficiency while she was pregnant. So that was really not even taken seriously. They did not send her to a specialist, and this was going on during COVID, where she could not have anybody go into her appointments with her. She was 19 years old and did not really know the seriousness of the issue of what it could do. And I believe because of the marginal cord insertion and whatnot, she went into preterm labor. They stopped it at one point, but it wasn't very much longer later that she went into labor again, and she ended up giving birth to him 5 weeks early. He had breathing issues. The day he was born, he was sent to Columbus NICU, where they had to put him on oxygen for his breathing and run a lot of tests to find out, what all was going on with him. He had several issues going on at that point. He had 2 holes in his heart. He had seizure-like activity. They thought that he had brain bleed and did MRIs and things like that. The doctor said it would heal itself. And he was in the NICU for about 11 days before they were able to dismiss him and send him home. He was almost 2 weeks old by the time he got home. And he was only 8 weeks old when his leg fractured. And they were saying that these fractures were they were at different stages of healing. And it takes these fractures anywhere from 2 to 3 weeks for healing, show signs of healing. So we're talking about an 8-week-old baby who spent the first 2 weeks of his life in a NICU. It gives us a very short amount of time there that these different instances of abuse could have took place. They did another skeletal survey a few weeks after the first and found 2 more fractures that they said didn't show up in the first. But this is at the time that he was in foster care. CHOA has refused to release those records to my daughter. Her public defender has refused to get those records for her. My son-in-law's attorneys have refused to even call him and talk to him about anything. Nothing has been done criminal-wise. What has been done to this point is that DFCS has taken them taken my grandson away from them, placed him with me for about a week, passed everything that I was supposed to do for DFCS. Background checks, drug tests, home inspection, financial reports, you name it, we did it, and passed with flying colors. He was placed with us for about a week. On June 8th, at the dependency hearing, against the advice of the lawyers, the guardian ad litem, DFCS employees, all agreed that he was placed with us and that it was a good placement. Against their belief, the judge decided to take him away from us because she thought that I might allow my daughter to see her son. I am just blown away with the idea that they do not want my grandson with family. I had my sister-in-law called to try and get him placed with her. She was willing to take him, and they refused her. They have refused any family to have our grandson. They would rather have him placed in a stranger's home than to let him be with family. I do not understand. I don't think I ever will understand the reasoning behind why this judge did this. And she also, one of the things that she said was, she said that a mother's love for her daughter far exceeds the love she would have for her grandchild. Therefore, she believed that I would put him in harm's way. I don't know a grandparent alive that believes that's true. Them grandbabies are so special to us, and I love that child, and I want him in my home until this is sorted out. DFCS has told lie after lie. No matter what we have tried to tell them, they have said that my daughter and her husband are drug abusers, chronic unrehabilitated drug abusers, and that is not true. They said that that I forced my daughter to surrender her rights to us, and that I would get her out of jail if she did, and that's not true. We did discuss as a family that this would be the best thing to do in order to get him with family, because their case is taking so long to get to court that their concurrent plan with DFCS of reunification adoption is going to run out before it ever gets to court, and they are immediately going to adopt our grandson to somebody else. So we are doing everything we can to get him in our care, in our home. We are willing to take him and raise him and do what is best for him. It's unbelievable. We know, we are almost 100% sure we know what kind of medical condition is going on here, and they are refusing any further testing. He has a flat spot on the back of his head. I asked it to get looked at. The foster mom got mad at me because I asked her to check on his head and see if he might need a helmet. And she has cut all communication with me whatsoever. She will not communicate with me at all now. I had visitation with my grandson up until I bonded my daughter out of jail, and DFCS stopped our visitation. So I have not been able to see, get pictures, nothing of my grandson. And my daughter and her husband have had absolutely no contact with their son since this began. This is wrong, y'all. We know this is medical, and we need it proven, and we are on the road to it, but DFCS is fighting us every step of the way. They are lining their pockets with money. The longer he stays in their care, the more money they make, the more bonuses they get. We know exactly what they're doing, but this is not going to end well for them. We are getting our grandson back one way or another, and we need help, and we need to make this exposed, and we need to make people aware, and we have got to stop them. So y'all, thank you for listening to my story. Please share it.